AITAH for refusing to save my half-sister I never knew existed from foster care, and for refusing to help my grandparents do it. I lost my mom to brain cancer when I was 15. My mom was on hospice for 9 months. She lived longer than expected but declined regularly. A month before she died, I found out my dad was having an affair with her best friend. The two of them claimed they were supporting and leaning on each other, and it wasn't supposed to hurt anyone. My mom was too far gone to be told. She lost a lot of her bodily functions, and her hearing and vision were poor too. I was sick, and I told my dad I was never coming back home, and I would be moving in with my maternal grandparents. He tried to stop me, but I wasn't listening. When mom died, I was with her, and I went home to my grandparents afterward. The day of the funeral, I learned my dad and mom's best friend had an affair for years before mom got sick, and it wasn't a we leaned on each other through grief thing like they claimed. My dad even got her pregnant when I was 7. She terminated the pregnancy, so mom would never find out. This is actually true because my dad confirmed it. I cut off all contact with my dad and his affair partner. I told my paternal grandparents I wanted to hear nothing about dad and her. I did not want to be invited over when they were there, and I did not want any help with those relationships because there wasn't going to be one. They told me they respected that. My dad died a few weeks ago, so did affair partner. My paternal grandparents told me about it and said they had a 2-year-old daughter together and that no arrangements were made for her. They asked me to consider contacting the social worker overseeing her care and say I wanted to take care of her. They said they would help me out financially with that, but that she needed a home and I was her sister. I told them I wasn't contacting anybody and I was not taking in some random child. They told me she wasn't some random child, she's my sister. They told me to forget the affair, who her parents are, and just think that she is my flesh and blood sibling, and the only people willing to take her is us. I told them that was not true, and I was not willing to take her. I said they could take her if they were so concerned, but I would not be doing so. I don't know how true this is, but my grandparents told me affair partner's family had already been contacted and declined to take her, and she was with a temporary foster family. My paternal grandparents tried to change my mind, but I stood firm. They then asked me if I would help out and have a relationship with her if they took her in. I said no. I told them I am not helping anyone take care of her, and I do not want a relationship. They told me to meet her at least once and then see. I said no. I told them the decision is firmly up to them, but they need to be aware they will not have my help. They contacted my maternal grandparents and gave them a hard time. They told my maternal grandparents to talk me into giving this a chance because it wasn't good for me to hold such a cold stance against a literal child who is related to me, whether I like it or not. My maternal grandparents told them where to go, and then they gave me a heads up. I told my paternal grandparents if they did not stop, I would cut all contact between us, as well whether they took her in or not. I said none of this is my problem, and I refused to make it my problem. They tried to argue with me that they can't do it on their own, and I told them I would be blocking them since they refused to listen. They begged me not to and said they would stop. That lasted 5 days and they started again, so I blocked them. But then they called my maternal grandparents again and gave them shit again and said some very unkind things about me, putting it mildly. I don't want to stop them from rescuing her, as to put it. I would never tell them what to do with their own lives and home. All I can tell them is what I won't do. This child is innocent, but so are lots of other children, and that's how I see her, as just any other child. AITAH?